right, everybody, welcome to an action-packed episode of the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. I am Harrison, and with me as always is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Oh my god, it's cramped in here.
Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Kevin. Say hello, Kevin.
Glad to know Joe is still just as lame even though I've been away.
We got James Hornsby from botchbot.com. Say hello, buddy.
Hey, everybody. Great to be back.
And the Professor Mathew Priest from MCW and Clash. Say hi, Matt.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen and plebeians all around the world. I will grace you with my glorious presence here this evening.
Did you just cut a promo on my show?
I think you did.
I do not cut promos. Promos do not get cut out of this mouth.
Alright, whatever. Tonight is episode number 111, coming to you live from a very packed elevator on April 24th, 2012. If you're new to the show, check out ftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in tonight's show, as well as upcoming shows. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, voicemail, text message, email, carrier pigeon, smoke signals, any way you can do it. We'll bring in your comments and questions throughout the show, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Tonight's live chat can be found at ftwpodcast.com/live. You can also email questions at ftwpodcast.com. And if you're on Twitter, use hashtag FTWLive, because we're going to be talking about what you have to say. But first up, in response to last week, are we being impatient with Lord Tensai? Violent RIC basically said yes. He found the show and he found me likable. Thank you very much. But he was disappointed to hear.
Likable.
He said he found the hosts likable. I am one of the hosts, therefore he found me likable.
Guilty by association. I don't believe it.
Oh, but you know what, Kev? You weren't even here last week, so I don't think you're allowed to make a comment like that. I was plenty likable without your presence here.
But he continues saying, but it was disappointing to hear the guy, sounds like he's the main host, sorry I didn't catch your name, being a typical, cynical, and most definitely impatient internet wrestling fan. It takes at least a few months to judge a character's success, since when has it been create a huge buzz, instantly every show you're a failure?
Yeah, Joe, considering that was pretty much your opinion.
Yeah, Joe, how dare you? No.
Both.
Yeah. I don't think we can ride that one yet another week. Look, I mean, I hate to play that angle, but I feel like I have to. When you have a roster as packed as WWE's is right now, even with two shows, we're having solid mid and upper card talent falling to the wayside. Guys like Miz, characters like that aren't getting the screen time. You bring in this new guy, if he's not making a huge splash right away, I gotta be honest, I don't see why he's gotta be around. I mean, when you look at Sin Cara, NXT, Karma, all these people made an instant presence when they came on. Tensai, yes, he's a slow burn. Yes, it worked in Japan. And I got to be honest, any other time, I'd be fine with it. But coming out of WrestleMania, usually when you're cutting massive amounts of talent and you're not doing that, you have all these guys sitting around that could be on screen not getting that. I mean, James did a comic about it, how SmackDown is basically turning into this whole, well, I'm here to change it. And then it was just a cavalcade of stars of people who aren't on camera right now. And now Tensai is burning up massive amounts of time, and it's just not, I just don't see the payoff.
I couldn't even fit Tensai in the comic.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he is a big dude.
I got to tell you guys, I haven't watched much of wrestling in the past year, but when I read that Albert was coming back, I was excited. And the only thing I've watched the main reason I've watched Raw the last 4 weeks has been to see Tensai, to see Albert. He was one of the guys who got me inspired to be into the business. I know it's very controversial. What the hell is this guy? He was a big guy. He can move. And hell, fucking 10 years ago, 12 years ago, he was
much hairier.
He was one of the guys that I really looked up to. But now that he's here and he's back, I look forward to seeing him. I think it's a different gimmick. The concept is there. I think the only thing that hurt his debut, the biggest thing that hurt his debut, was the fact that Brock Lesnar came back on the exact same night, and he's going to overshadow everybody else in that company because he's a monster mega star. What they're doing with Tensai, it's a little bit slower build, but it's going to work for him. I say in 4 to 6 months, he's going to be in that upper echelon. He's going to be what Sheamus was 2-3 years ago. He's going to be that top monster heel right there around the title. If he gets it, great. If he doesn't, he probably won't. But that's just how I see things going.
You know, if they could really speed this up to earn me points in the FTW draft, I would love it.
You earned some this week. Stop complaining. The big thing for me is
one show, Kevin. There's only been one show.
The big thing for me is, I don't consider his debut a disappointment at all. In fact, the thing that I'm focusing on more than anything is his moveset. And compared to, say, Brodus Clay's, much, much better. I mean, the things that he's done in the ring have been really impressive. I have been impressed with him. I do agree with Harrison's point that he made last week that maybe he needs something else when he's coming down to the ring.
Yeah,
he's got the guy that's going all LeBron, throwing the salt or whatever.
Oh, you did not name drop
I did.
that guy
I was
on
told
my
that
show.
one back
oh,
when I
Kevin,
came back.
You son of a bitch! You get off the show. You get off the show right now. You whore! You whore! You Cincinnati whore!
I've had that one in my back pocket for like the entire week, just waiting for this.
Someone punch him.
No, seriously, I do think he needs something else. I don't know what it is, so I agree with Harrison there. But more than that, I have been impressed. I've been really impressed with this moveset. It's not two things, squash, it's over like it is with Brodus Clay. Look, I love what Brodus Clay is doing, and it's incredibly entertaining. But that's all that we've gotten out of his matches. Tensai showed us a lot, so on that level, I have been very impressed.
Yeah, it seems like Tensai is the anti-Brodus Clay. He doesn't have the big pomp and circumstance entrance, but in the ring he delivers. And I'm just saying just a little bit more, some lasers, something, because really when you got entrances like Kane, when you got entrances like Brodus Clay, when you got entrances like with these huge, productions gone with them. I mean, with Lord Tensai, I understand where they're going for it. It's Japan, it works, but this isn't Japan. This is, the United States, and we like fireworks. We do it every year. So, I mean, that's my point of view.
Shit, on Raw, they do it every week.
Exactly. I mean, they open the show with
the reaction. I think the reaction that they're looking for, they're kind of getting with it. Because I know I didn't see his whole entrance last night, but I know the first couple of weeks when he got in the ring, right when he started disgarbing, and he took the mask off, the crowd had that, they rose. The crowd was anticipating him to take off the robe and the mask. So I think that's the reaction they're going for. It's a big physical. You look at this guy coming in the ring; it's a spectacle. You see this monster walk into the ring, and he's all dressed up in his costume. And I think that it has that mystique to it that wrestling hasn't had in a long period of time. He's a throwback right now. The Lord Tensai character kind of takes you back to like a monster heel from the '80s. Even, I mean, hell, he's got the claw as a finish, and I love that.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Now, I just want to apologize for. I mean, if you think I'm being impatient, I'm sorry. I'm not being impatient. I'm just thinking he just needs a little bit more in the ring entrance. However, I am very sorry if it makes it sound like I'm like the rest of the IWC. If there's anything this show is, it is anti-internet wrestling community. If you don't think so, you should read our hate mail when we talk about how great TNA is. So I just want to let that say. I want to kick this to James for his last opinion before we move on to Impact, because you had a great comic that kind of goes with this, and I wanted to see what you thought. So what do you think about this, James?
Yeah, well, sorry, Harrison, but I kind of agree with everyone else that I personally love everything about Lord Tensai right now, and even his slow entrance, it's like everything else on the show can just rush and be like boom, boom, boom. Everyone's jumping around trying to get attention, but when he comes out, it's like you have to watch, to really see him come down. It's like the focus of the whole show. And really, in the ring, he's like a legitimate force and everything. So,
no, yeah. I mean that's absolutely fine. I totally get that point of view. All right, so Impact Wrestling. We're going to jump over to TNA. Rob, before you start, I do want to bring up one thing. Deuce Loosely, swear to shit, this guy posted on our Facebook under that name. Look, it's like I love the name Deuce Loosely. It just sounds like kind of like an '80s.
Bowel movement?
No. He sounds like it sounds like almost like an '80s kind of like a cop movie almost that was harkening back to the '60s. I mean, it's very cool. I like it. Anyway, he's basically saying that this search for Abyss has to end quickly. Hopefully, this leads to a discovery that he has a split personality and him going batshit crazy when confronted by Bully Ray or whatever. What do you think about that, Rob?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I like the storyline that they're doing, But at the same point in time, I think TNA is dragging it out too long, and they really need to start pushing it in somewhere, in some direction, rather than have Abyss run into a dead end searching
now
week after week.
Now, Rob, I mean, with the search for Abyss, maybe I missed it. I mean, I did watch like 99% of Impact, but they keep telling Joseph Park to head off and talk to Bully Ray. Did he ever actually talk to Bully Ray?
Not during last week's Impact. I want to say he had a brief encounter with Bully Ray like a few months back, but Bully Ray just basically brushed him off.
Yeah, I think so.
And Gunner tried to do the same thing, and that's when we've seen the closest to a development where Gunner kind of brushes him off and walks away, and Park grabs him, Gunner, and turns back and says, "Hey, look, listen to me." So I'm slightly encouraged that they seem to be pushing this somewhere, but I would agree that TNA has to find a destination for this storyline, and they need to start moving towards that destination.
Okay.
Fair enough.
The other thing I want to bring in that Deuce brought up, and I do want to point out that Deuce is basically he's basically reviewing every show on our Facebook page. If we go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/FTW podcast, he's got his reviews on there, and they're pretty good. I mean, the only issue I have with him is that he's putting every point up as its own post, so I'm getting notifications on my phone throughout the entire night. But other than that, it's fantastic. But we only get that because we're admins for the site. But he's putting his stuff up there, and he's
once you become an admin, that's fucked up.
Deal with it. He brought up this really good point about Crimson, basically saying that the phony undefeated streak by Crimson is total BS. Here's the thing. Goldberg was never interrupted in his single streak with tag matches, and basically that they need to stop it because it just doesn't measure up. I mean, what do you, Joe and James, have to say about that?
Yes, I think he's dead on the mark. I've actually been thinking about this a lot. Not just tag matches, but the other thing TNA is doing wrong is Crimson is not an everyday wrestler.
Okay.
They go on about how many months his unbeaten streak has lasted, but they neglect to mention that that through a good portion of that, it was not uncommon for him to go 2-3 weeks at a time without having a match. Goldberg, on the other hand, you could see him wrestle on Monday Nitro, and then you'd see him wrestle on Thursday. And WCW threw everything they had at this guy. WCW did a good job of taking Goldberg and convincing you that this man would kill you if you got into a fight.
That's actually a really good point. James, our live chat said, Garvin said, that Crimson isn't believable. Goldberg basically looked awesome. He was a beast, but really Crimson? I mean, what do you think after watching Impact? The thing I love about this is James has been basically watching Impact like people treat Lent. Like he's doing it like this grand chore, and he's doing it for a finish line.
Well, it's not that bad. It's just a total chore. There's just only so much time for watching wrestling, but
yeah.
With Crimson, at this point with his undefeated streak, I don't even know if it'd be a big deal when it ends or anything. I don't feel like it's being, he doesn't just seem like, it's just, it's not as legitimate. I don't think anyone out there really thinks it is, and it just doesn't feel like it'll be that big of a deal when someone finally beats them,
Okay. All right, so two things I want to talk about with Impact, two opinions I want from you guys. The big Battle Royale tag match thing with the Knockouts division.
I love that match. I enjoyed the shit out of that match.
Awesome. That's what I was going for. What about you, Rob, James? What do you guys think?
The 6-woman tag match was pretty good. Was one of the high points of the night, actually, and it was nice to see TNA bring back Tessmacher and Tara, start using some of their knockouts that they haven't been using that much, and throw a little variety into the thing. I'm with Joe on here. I love that match.
Okay. James, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was really good, and it's kind of funny to look at that and then think about not to jump ahead, but the Diva Battle, or not, Lumberjill match from Raw, and just the difference in talent there and the way the women are treated and everything. So it's a really showing of their talent.
Yeah, that was exactly the point I wanted to bring up, James. If you look at the two situations that you had in WWE and TNA in the same week, TNA clearly show what happens when you have a depth of talent in the Knockouts division, and that if you treat women's wrestling with respect, you get matches like this. All right, so the last thing is, last match of the night, RVD beating Hardy and Mr. Anderson, and Deuce pointed this out on our Facebook. RVD is now the #1 contender for Bobby Roode's title. That's right? I mean, that's basically what's happening.
Yes, that is what's happening.
That's because 420 was right around the corner.
That's got to be it, because this is the dumbest thing I could think. I'm sorry, RVD was great, but what the hell?
Well, I know the justification there. What this seems like to me is it seems like TNA, long after it's happened, and after just about every wrestling fan has forgotten about it, except for geeks like me, they're remembering that RVD never really lost his title. It was stripped from him after Abyss supposedly assaulted him with Janice and everything like that, leading up to Immortal taking over.
Okay.
So it seems to me like we're coming full circle, and Hogan saying, okay, since you never lost your title, I'm going to give you a chance to get back into the title race and have a shot to reclaim your title. I think it's a bad decision. I think TNA is at a spot right now where they don't need to rely on RVD. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I think that's what they're going for.
Okay, James, you agree?
Well, what bothers me about it, it's not just RVD's in the title picture. Like that, I'm fine with, but it's the way that Hulk Hogan didn't say that when, he didn't say that this is why. It was just pretty much like a chance encounter where they ran into each other backstage, and Hulk Hogan's really just like, oh, I can put you in a match. RVD's like, okay, and then he wins. There's just no desire for the title, and...
Actually, James, when they were going back and forth, RVD kind of mentioned it. He's like, yeah, maybe if you had somebody who never lost their title. So RVD made a passing reference to it. But you're right. Most of it was just kind of, hey, I want to throw somebody else into this. But RVD did make a passing reference to it.
Speaking of 420, the chat is saying that was match of the night, which they are clearly wrong. I'm sorry. It was the women's match. I mean, that was match of the night. I'm pulling executive decision saying that they're wrong. All right, so SmackDown. Joe, what was your favorite moment about SmackDown?
Ooh, I liked seeing Titus O'Neil and Darren Young.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact they're bringing back Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, a.k.a. as everyone knows him, Black Cena.
Yeah.
Because that is so incredibly creepy that how much they look like each other. But, they beat Jimmy and Jey Uso. The only reason I think that's okay is because they're trying to push these guys as a tag team. Most people, not two singles wrestlers together as a tag team, but, as a tag team.
Right.
Granted, they don't have a name yet or, a specific look other than maybe ethnicity, but just because they happen to be two black guys. But it's good to see. I know I'm digging a hole here. I know that's Joe at FTW podcast. But I do like them going over a good established tag team. Maybe this is a teasing that WWE is going to care about their tag team division. I'm just kidding. We know that's not going to happen. Alberto Del Rio beating Big Show. I like that. Another Ryback squash.
Yeah.
So TNA, if you're listening, if you want to push somebody in a streak, I think doing the Ryback method more than the Crimson method is working.
You mean backstage reaction?
Oh, I hate that. That's like failed week. Because it's not like they're like, wow, this guy's amazing. Like, whoa, look at that guy.
I hate to
look at that guy get squashed. That's crazy.
I hate to harp on the comic, but James had me laughing so hard when he was saying, like, is WWE going to hire someone to sit on my couch next to me and tell me how to react?
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. I keep thinking, like, what are they going for with that? Like, what are they? That must be what they want us to do. Like, but then, even then, they're making fun of the jobber more than they're impressed with Ryback. So I don't know.
It's so awkward. I just someone clearly thought that was a good. Someone who was sleeping with the boss thought that was a good idea.
Eve?
Yeah.
Okay, Eve. Eve thought that was a good idea.
The genetic jackhammer. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's pretty much the best part. Was for me was the Titus O'Neil, Darren Young versus Usos. I like tag team action.
Yeah.
No,
it's fair.
I was waiting for the tee-hee-hee joke. Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Big Show being Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry, and Cody Rhodes. Another impressive match that was fun to watch. But as much as they want to get away from the Teddy Long, all of a sudden we're going to put everybody in a tag team match for a main event, the Teddy Long era is still alive and well.
Well, it takes a while to get that out of the cushions. You gotta, it's a lot of baking soda and vigorous scrubbing. Yeah. The chat is saying they loved AJ going ballistic on Natalya.
We've been waiting for that moment for a while.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I think the Daniel Bryan AJ segment in the beginning was well done. It's still, Daniel Bryan's kicking her to the curb, and he's talking the trash, and she's just eating it up and won't give it up.
Well, I mean, when we were talking about it a long time ago, I mean, that was my one thing is I'm like, I just think coming out of this, I mean, first off, I didn't think that the Yes Champ was going to take over like it is. I mean, Daniel Bryan is the go-to guy for pops. I mean, for crowd pops right now. But AJ was going to come out looking so great in this, and she really, we're starting to see it. I mean, anything that's going to get Kelly away from the face of the Divas division, I'm fine with AJ because she's got talent. So.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering, though, if they're is she eventually going to turn that on Daniel Bryan and then come after him like that sometime?
She hires Karma to take him out.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first guy Karma's taken out.
Karma becomes the hit woman of the WWE. They want to resuscitate that storyline. That was a great storyline. AJ, well, who would be... So then who would be... Hang on. That would work. Karma could come out and just be like, damn! Anyway, all right, fine, whatever. I think that'd be an awesome storyline to bring back. Okay, final thoughts on SmackDown before we move on to Raw?
Go ahead, James.
I was just going to say, I really love the surprise cat sign that's right above the ring. I hate to mention signs, but it just seemed to work for every angle, everything that happened. I don't know if anyone else saw it.
Wait, which sign?
There's a picture of a cat, like a surprise cat. Never mind. Never mind. It just looked really shocked at everything.
No, I thought I saw it. I saw a photo of it. Somebody had put it online, but the photo was so bad. I thought it was somebody who just photoshopped something in there. But no, that's cool.
All right, from the chat. What? No comment on Antonio Cesaro?
Nope.
Ooh. All right, there you go. No comment. That's it. What about you, James?
I didn't do anything. I mean, it was kind of cool to see him there. Maybe turn to my wife and say, "Oh, that's Claudio Castagnoli from Ring of Honor."
Yeah.
But other than that, there wasn't much to it.
Yeah, it was kind of an inside baseball type of thing. All right, so Raw. Kevin, good to have you back, buddy. What was your favorite moment about Raw?
No question for me, Chris Jericho and Kofi Kingston, which I thought was an outstanding match. I thought those guys were great, and that was only preceded by a freaking awesome promo by Edge, bringing a ton of, I don't know, emotion, anger, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was a great job by Edge in the promo. And, of course, it never hurts that it's in the D, so they're pulling off all this good stuff. So glad it was just about 10 miles down the road.
Yeah, the question I had for that is I wonder if you noticed this, that when Cena came out, the usual, Cena sucks chants, then when Edge started to get behind Cena, it seemed like the crowd got really confused because, everybody who hated Cena's like, but Edge, we don't like Cena. Why are you doing this? We want to boo you, but you're Edge.
Couldn't happen. But I think the way that they took it was good as well. They were bringing up, like a lot of the just beating Cena's, Edge and Cena have gone through, and what's happened there. And I think that, really had the crowd just kind of muted a little bit, like, yeah, well, you brought that up. Okay. Cena went through a lot kind of thing, so that was part of it.
Lots of, later on through the show, or throughout the entire night, it was just lots of, let's go Cena chants, and then you never really heard that Cena sucks. You didn't hear it.
Yeah, there was a little bit, but it was more muted than usual, which I think maybe it's a good sign for Cena. I mean, like I said, the guy deserves our respect. Like him or not, he does. That's the bottom line.
Because Kevin said so.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that, but I decided not to.
You're welcome.
Tensai squashes Truth. I find more in this the fact that Truth got squashed. Anybody else?
I would say so, except he got a lot of promo time last week, and he got a good bit of promo time this week.
Yeah, but he only got off a few moves and really got pounded. I mean, I know they're trying to build Tensai, but this is true. We did get a lot of promo time, but I took a lot out of that he got really squashed.
I like the fact that he held the ropes open for little Jimmy.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Someone was saying, when are we gonna? Oh, yeah, that was pretty awesome. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, Kev. But before we go, match for match, did it seem? Now, the one thing I want to discuss with you, did it seem weird that every other match we got a Brock Lesnar promo?
Yes, and I was going to bring that up. What was there, like 10?
Yeah, 10. And here's.
Like I said at the beginning, I thought this was a great Raw. I thought it was really good and a ton of good build-up in several angles. But we really need 10 Brock Lesnar promos?
Here's what I think. Does anybody else think that Cena's possibly taking a break after Extreme Rules? And then Lesnar is going to be the new, quote, face. I mean, they're basically all they kept talking about is face of the company, face of the company, face of the company. I mean, is it tin hat time for that, or no?
If there was a time when Cena could take a break, it's certainly now. You have Punk, you have now Lesnar, you have Jericho. These are guys that could allow Cena to take a couple of months off. And like we said, it's probably in his best interest for his character, and Lord knows he deserves it. So, it's possible.
During the negotiation, it was, Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
So, it's like, you're having all the ingredients to have Brock Lesnar be the face of the company, but at the same time, he's only getting 30 appearances a year? Is that it?
30.
Yeah. So, all right. So that was my tin hat time. Keep going. What else did you like about Raw?
Let's see. Nikki Bella beat Beth Phoenix for the Divas title. Yay. I did, like what they threw in a stipulation Lumberjill match. Eve is appointed executive administrator to Laurinaitis. We'll talk more about that later. Punk's sobriety test, I think we'll get more into this a little bit later as well, so I'll kind of leave that one. Mark Henry beats Sheamus as Daniel Bryan is the guest referee. This guy cannot be stopped. We've said it. It's true. They're trying everything they can to keep him as a heel, but everything he does is yes, 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 even when he's not in the ring.
Oh God, when he was the ref, it was so awesome.
Yeah.
In that shirt. Oh.
Brodus Clay and Hornswoggle, yay. I love watching Brodus Clay come out, but that's it. He either needs to develop a moveset or do something else. I love watching the entrance, and it's so much fun, but he's got to have more than 2 moves at some point.
Yeah, at this point, they might as well just make him the Raw GM.
So, Kevin, here's one question for you. The one match that we kind of jumped over there was Zack Ryder and Santino Marella beating Epico and Primo cleanly, with the tag team champions taking their second loss in a row clean. What do you think about that?
It proves the point further that they don't care about tag teams, and it's really just about getting Ryder and Santino some face time. Maybe they could have thrown one less Brock Lesnar promo out there and put them out there for actual matches, but no, couldn't do that. All that says to me is they don't care about tag teams. They wanted to get Santino and Ryder some FaceTime, which Joe and I have spoken ad nauseum about that we can't stand. That's all it says to me.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying. Basically, now, do you think it's that they don't care about tag teams, or that it's Primo or Epico just not getting over? I mean, the one point proving what you're saying is that in SmackDown, Jimmy and the Usos, they both lost. They're an established tag team.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's I'm sure Epico and Primo not getting over doesn't help any. I think overall it's an overall bias. They just don't care about tag team wrestling anymore. I think if they could just get rid of it, they would. I just don't think they care.
Okay.
And yeah, finally we come to the Cena Lesnar contract signing. I forgot about one important thing before we get to that. Lesnar throws Josh Matthews like a rag doll. Took me by surprise, and I thought Matthews did really well with it. The whole, look, I'm just trying, he's like walking away like I'm just trying to do my job, which
he looks so
exactly
dejected.
What I was thinking is, I'm literally thinking, good job, Brock, and I'm thinking, man, all he's doing is trying to do his job, and he's like, he's just trying to do my job, and he just wings him. I was like, wow. So, color me surprised there. I'll be the first one to tell you. And then the contract signing, I think Lesnar's playing his part really well. We've talked about he's not the best in the mic. I mean, yeah, he's not, but he's doing what he needs to do, and he's playing his part really well. I think this is very believable, and I like the build-up. I think it's really good what they're doing. So I'm impressed. If anybody else wants to chime in.
There's two things in the show that kind of stuck out to me. Brock Lesnar's promo at the end, where he's talking, saying, "Oh, he's not a dumb hick," and then he's like not using the right words. I found that to be humorous. But then also CM Punk trying to, faking being drunk, then saying he's sober, and screwing up counting backwards or saying the alphabet backwards was
I thought that was
really funny to me.
Yeah, I wasn't really impressed with the CM Punk thing, except the humor that he brought to that. But I just thought the whole kind of sobriety test itself was stupid. One other thing as well, before I forget, I thought Kane's promo was awesome. And I really think I'm really impressed. I wish this was the build-up to WrestleMania, because I think it's really, really good what they're doing. And I think you've said this several times in the past year that you think that Randy Orton works better as a heel. I think these two are going to work phenomenally together, because Randy Orton can play more of a just the heel Randy Orton, where he just wants to hurt people because Kane has no compassion.
I just think it's great that Paul Bearer comes back from the dead yet again, only to be shoved into a freezer.
Oh, I love that.
That was so awesome. Yeah, my wife was.
The overall angle that they're doing, I think, is really good with the attack on Cowboy Bob Orton and the retaliation. I thought Kane's promo was great. I'm really impressed with the build-up with those two. I think they're working really well together.
Awesome. Okay. Before we move on, I do want to say that the chat's agreeing with us that they hope Cena can take some time off, but they worry that WWE will have Lesnar make the rest of the roster look bad in his stead. Entirely possible. I mean, who knows? Who knows who Lesnar could injure if he's left to go willy-nilly through the roster? And that's a perfect time for Cena to take a break and let Brock run Raw, which is true. I mean, I think that'd be really. I mean, we've said that would be really nice. Okay, so time for Ask FTW. We need a live band that'll play music. That'd be awesome. You can ask us questions by emailing questions at ftwpodcast.com or send us a tweet at ftwpodcast using the hashtag AskFTW and post on our Facebook wall, facebook.com/FTWpodcast. First item up on the docket. Enter Attitude Era on YouTube asked, "Who do you think? What do you think is the most devastating move in WWE today?" And he said, "Thank you for taking my question and have a great day." You have a great day, buddy. All right, most devastating move in WWE today. Well, just going to start at the top, work our way down. Joe.
If we've got to do it right now, I'm going to have to say the F5. I always found that move impressive. A nice runner-up has got to be a properly fit Walls of Jericho.
Okay. All right, Rob?
I would say actually the go to sleep. and I'm counting that as because CM Punk wrestles a lot more than Brock Lesnar does right at the moment and everything. And when I look at that move and how it's done, there are so many different ways you can screw that move up and seriously injure somebody. So I would say the go to sleep. And on the women's side, I would say Beth Phoenix's Glam Slam as a runner-up.
All right. Kevin?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the F5. It's really impressive just tossing somebody in the air and watching them spin around and still get slammed.
All right. James?
I'm going to have to second the Glam Slam. Just the way it swings all the way up to face first on the mat, and it even shows the person's face as they scream, for help or whatever. That to me, that's the most devastating move.
Okay. Mathew.
Tensai's claw.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying as far as old school. Mine, I gotta be honest, I kind of like the bro kick. I mean, the fact that they decided to have an entire match at WrestleMania consisting of only that move is pretty impressive.
That is one of those moves that can be hit out of anywhere, even though you said that's the worst thing for a finisher.
That's the thing, though, Joe. The more when you first said it, I thought it was terrible, and then the more I think about it, the more I realize how exciting it is when he does hit that. It's just like the RKO or the stunner. It was just like one of these moves that it isn't like Shawn Michaels' warm up kick or anything like that. It's like bam, there it is, and it's like oh shit, it happened. So maybe it's just all the MMA I've been watching. Garvin's saying the triple power bomb by Jericho, which is pretty cool. Mike emailed us in episode. Oh, the chat is agreeing that it's all RKO all the way. In episode 9, in the bro kick. Oh, look at that. In episode 90, you talked about changing the WWE title. Now that The Rock is trying to make a push for the title, do you think that if he does win it, maybe he would change the title back to the Attitude Era title, seeing as though he hates everything about Cena, and Cena basically did create that spinner belt? What do you guys think? Do you think that if The Rock basically does make a push for the title, they're going to swap him out?
No.
No?
No, but I think anybody who is not Cena and has a lot of cred backstage gets their hands on the title, I think they'll switch it. That's just a hideous belt. I'm sorry.
I completely agree. I can't stand it. I don't think anything happens unless Rock. If Rock definitely wins it, it's a possibility. But I can't stand the spinner belt. I don't care what they go back to.
If you're not bringing back the old Eagle belt, then you need to bring back the Undisputed Championship that Brock was carrying around.
That was a nice belt. They're not bringing back the Eagle. That's not happening. But the Undisputed that Brock had was a nice belt. Yeah. James, Matt, what do you guys think?
I don't think Rock.
I got it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ahead,
I'm sorry. I should really be better with this. James, you go first, and then we'll kick to Matt.
I don't think Rock's going to be the one to change. I mean, of course, I hope it would, but I think their feud is kind of over. I don't know. I don't really see them changing it anytime soon if they haven't yet.
Okay. Matt?
I mean, I said years and years ago when that belt come in, like 2005, maybe, somewhere around there. But around that time, maybe a year after it was run, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if all their belts got a facelift, because you looked at the U.S. title, which came out just before that, and then the spinner belt, which is now it doesn't even hasn't spawned in a while, but it's still the same mold. And then they had the Divas belt, and if you look at the new tag belts, I think if you look back at the history of championship belts, you look back to like what the title was before Hogan had it, when Shiki and when Backlund and San Martino had it. It was just a little strap with the buckle. I think if the belt changes, you're going to see a new evolution of the style of a belt, something new, something different that they're going to pattern again all the belts back after. I mean, the IC titles kind of went back to the classic look with when Cody was champ. That's the only belt that's kind of stood the test of time. Everything else has gotten a facelift.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they did change the belt, if they went with another unique, big, gaudy. I mean, you have to think that when times change, when evolution changes, the belts are going to change with the times. And with the belt was like a big diamond, it's a blinging belt, and that's why they're still going with it. It looks flashy to 14-year-old kids, like, oh, I want that WWE belt. That's something I want to aspire and I want to have, and that's who's going to make them money.
So do you think WWE will ever pull off something like the Jeff Hardy belt?
I got to be honest, I'm not really familiar with the Jeff Hardy belt. I know I've seen like a picture of it online. Can't tell you offhand. I think it was purple with like his face or something on it.
Right. So if you gave a 5-year-old kid, crayons and drew a picture and you cut it out, that's pretty much what the belt was.
It was terrible.
It was awful. I mean, I don't even think it was symmetrical.
I can't stand the spinner belt. I would rather get the spinner belt for all of eternity than ever see Jeff Hardy's belt again. I mean,
it wasn't that bad.
Absurd.
Yeah, it was that bad, and it was worse by the fact that TNA made a big deal over the fact that Jeff Hardy himself had designed the belt.
Clearly, while he was high.
But again, looking at it though, they went with a gaudy belt. Yeah, the spinner. Personally, I look at the spinner belt like, oh, the belt, it's hideous, it's ugly, but they're not trying to appeal to me. They're not trying to appeal to us with it. And yeah, it's had its run now. It's over. Well, like I said, I think it was 2005 when I came out with it. You guys probably will be able to cement that in. But it's roughly 7 years, and you figure every belt that they've had lasts about 10 years, and then they'll have a new design. Except for the Undisputed, that lasted about a year, and then they switched up. But I mean, I think you'll see a new belt soon, within the next 2 years, but who's the hell to say what it's going to look like?
All right. From the chat's saying that if Punk didn't change the belt by now, it's not changing. I don't think Punk has that kind of sway backstage. I think it's going to take someone like Lesnar, which is what they're saying, that Lesnar's going to take the belt and will change it, which I agree with. If Lesnar wins it, I could see if anybody's going to be the one that changes the belt, it's going to be Lesnar, just because, like Matt's saying, new attitude, new thing. Having Lesnar, I mean, if you want to do the tinfoil hat thing, having Lesnar become the new face of the company, he's a completely different style from Cena, and it would be, like you were saying, an evolution of what's going on in WWE. So if they're going to go for more the reality thing of having a guy with sponsorship logos on him and from MMA, I could see them incorporating some of that. Ryan, here we go. Ryan Suri93 on Twitter. Sorry, buddy. Do you think that WWE wrestlers bury themselves, or does WWE bury the wrestler? We'll just go right down the docket. Joe.
Say that again? I'm sorry, I was trying to look up the title belt information.
Do you think in WWE that wrestlers bury themselves, or does WWE bury the wrestler?
I think it's a little column A, little column B. I think there are sometimes that guys will do something that management is just like, what the fuck? No. You're sitting, you're on the bench.
Okay.
But I also think that, WWE will do it to guys who are undeserving.
Okay. Rob?
I'm right with Joe. I think sometimes the WWE will push a guy that's not ready, and he just sucks in the ring. But I think that sometimes it happens to good wrestlers who should be performing that the WWE just decides they don't like for one reason or another, and it gets buried. So little column A, little column B.
Okay. Kevin?
I agree with everybody else. It's a little bit of both. Sometimes, you get a situation like Evan Bourne, where he buried himself, or you get the WWE saying, we don't think you have it. So, yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit of both.
Okay. James?
I think it's just the WWE just squashing the wrestlers just because they don't have anything better to do. No, really. I just want to be different. Yeah, I think it's both of them working together at it.
Okay. Matt?
I don't know if you guys remember, but you guys had me on the show, was about a year ago. You guys asked
no,
me
we don't remember.
The identical question to this. It was a very similar question. I said, I don't believe that was when I was a regular booker. From a booker standpoint, I take myself out of the shoes of a fan. From a booking standpoint, it is a little bit of both. You guys are right on that, as I said, but it's not so much push. Every time a guy walks through the curtain, it's an opportunity. Anytime you walk through the curtain, it's an opportunity, whether you're going out there for a 47-second, you're going to get in the ring with Ryback and get killed in 47 seconds. That's an opportunity for you. Ryback's got the same opportunity. He's got 47 seconds to go out there and make an impact. And if you can go out there and you can get something to connect, I mean, Ryder, he's an example right now. He's over. Last night on Raw, I got to catch his little match. He's out there with Santino. The crowd's going ballistic for those two guys. And the match before that, it was like Big Show and Khali, and the crowd was pretty flat. Ryder and Santino got something. They're getting television time for that reason. And these were two guys that who the hell to say that any fans would have cared about him a couple of years ago? Every time they got a chance to be on TV, they seized that opportunity. They made the most of it.
Right.
And then you look at other guys out there that have had TV time, that have had opportunities that just haven't been able to cut the mustard. So WWE has no choice but to pull them back. And then you've got, of course, whatever happens backstage. You piss off this guy, and we're going to pull you off TV, which, from what I've been told, I don't know the whole story behind it, but that's something that's going on with The Miz right now is he's in the doghouse for something he did. But that's kind of what it is. It's a whole spectrum, it's a whole circle, but it's all about seizing an opportunity when you go out there. I mean, Hart, when I read that question earlier and you guys were mentioning it, I thought of the Hart Dynasty. I thought of, like, here's guys that you had Bret Hart, you had Natalia, you had Tyson, you had Harry. These guys were going out there, they were getting TV time, the crowd was behind them, and then Bret kind of faded away. Then they decided, you know what, we're going to split these guys up. Harry's gone, Natty's gone, and with Tyson Kidd, he's probably one of the most talented technical wrestlers on the roster, but he can't talk. He doesn't really have much charisma compared to everybody else in WWE, so he stopped having good matches on Superstars because he's a good hand to have, but he's never going to make WWE money.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, Joe, you had a quick factoid about the belt?
Yeah, the spinner, the WWE spinner belt was debuted April 14th, 2005.
Damn, man, you are a freaking encyclopedia. You just pulled that out. You're like 2005, I think. Boom, dead on.
Mathew Priest versus Bill Martell in the factoid trivia game.
We should do a trivia game.
We've had many of our back and forth affairs.
Do you collect?
I taught him everything he knows.
Okay, do you collect WWE magazines too?
No, I used to when I was younger, but I don't have the '92 edition, or he can pull that stuff out of the magazines. I know. I mean, he'll get me with some of those, but then we have a game we call the Wrestler Game that we'll play on the road, and I usually catch him, but he's gotten me a few times.
Their kids' magazine is great, by the way.
What's that?
Their kids' magazine is great, by the way.
Yes. James, are you still getting that, or did you actually cancel that subscription?
No, I did stop that, but I get the regular magazine. It's pretty good.
So we effectively guilted you into canceling the magazine subscription.
Yeah, I did get weird looks too, you know. I took it.
Awesome. That's so awesome. All right, friend Twitter, Emery Mathos says, in honor of Orton Kane, what is your favorite Falls Count Anywhere match ever? She's saying Savage Crush at WrestleMania 10. I can't honestly remember the last time I saw a Falls Count Anywhere match that really stuck out to me. So, I mean, anybody have, just real quick?
Benoit Sullivan.
Okay. Anybody else?
The closest thing that comes to mind is Rock versus Mankind in the empty arena match, which is a variation of Falls Count Anywhere for the Super Bowl halftime show. That was a pretty cool match.
I thought of the Submission Count Anywhere match at, I think it was Hell in a Cell from 2010 between Daniel Bryan, Miz, and Morrison. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, well, it's not really a Falls Count Anywhere's match, but that was pretty good, yeah.
Well, it's anywhere.
Yeah, submissions anywhere. Robert from the chat is saying that they're releasing a Falls Count Anywhere match DVD this summer. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out so they can actually start remembering some of these. Hogan versus McMahon in the chat. Who do you think is going to get cut from WWE in a few months? It's around cut season, and people are saying that A-Rai, who showed up in the first, and there are people like A-Rai who showed up first time in months. It is cut season. I mean, if you guys had to pick one guy that you think is going to be cut coming up, who's it going to be? Joe?
I'm really hoping it's not Rex and Hawkins. If I got to get rid of somebody, I don't know. Is one of the Dude Busters still around?
I don't think so. Oh, who said Trent Beretta?
That was me. Yeah, Dude Busters.
Yeah. Okay. Garvin's saying Beretta's hurt.
Okay, fine. So then, fine. Yoshitatsu.
That's probably a solid pick, especially the whole thing. Anybody else? Rob? Kevin?
I would say A-Rai, Alex Riley.
Okay, Kev?
Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal. Okay. James, what about you, Matt?
Evan Bourne, I guess. Same thing.
Evan Bourne.
Other than you guys mentioned, just everybody who I was thinking of, but who was teaming with Titus O'Neil on Superstars? I'd read his name all the time. He was an NXT guy, and now that they've got Darren Young with O'Neil, I think the other guy who was with him will probably be gone. Do you guys remember who was it?
Was it Percy Watson?
Yeah, that's it. That's who it was. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's either gonna be him or Derek Bateman.
That actually, for me, it was either Bateman or McGillicuddy. Just because they haven't done anything with any of these guys.
Well, McGillicuddy's been hurt, I thought.
Really? No, I thought McGillicuddy is doing awesome work on Superstars. Oh, shut up, Garvin. You're such a hipster. Anyway, the Kilo G on Twitter said, is he the only person dying to see R-Truth hot tag in Little Jimmy? Come on. Who would want to... I mean, basically saying, I think we'd all like to see this, but what could they do to improve this current storyline, and what should they do so that way it doesn't lose its appeal? Anybody?
They could... Oh, go ahead.
You can go ahead. I'm sure I'm going a different direction than you are, so go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say team him up with Curry Man and Shark Boy and Super Eric.
Fucking Shark Boy.
Now, I was going to say R-Truth now kind of is like Al Snow from the Attitude Era, where he had the head, Little Jimmy's head. I mean, that's how I kind of look at it, and I mean, whatever they did with head to keep the angle interesting, you could do any of that stuff with Little Jimmy to a degree. I mean, how do you pin, if they did ever do the tag match, how do you pin Little Jimmy? Well, if you guys remember Brian Christopher pulling out the Head and Shoulders shampoo bottle and shoving it in head, pin him. Who knows what they can come up with? There's something out there they could do, but that's how I view the R-Truth Little Jimmy thing as Al Snow and Head. So whatever they could do with Al Snow and Head, they can do with R-Truth and Little Jimmy.
Garvin brought it up, and I do want to mention it. Like you said, Head was a thing. He was tangible. And like the Head and Shoulders thing, that was really freaking funny when I saw that. But that is a huge difference, that he's a real... Head was a prop. I mean, he was a real thing. And then there are all the sex jokes, got to get head. Everyone deserves some head. I mean, there are...
Well...
Head.
I think what you can do, I think back to like a promo Triple H had when he was talking, and Triple H stopped and started talking, and then R-Truth kind of looks confused, is like, but there's nobody there, and Triple H just turns and looks at R-Truth and is like, I know. So there's stuff like that you can do just to have fun with it.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, the fact is he's invisible. That's part of the problem. Is like, what are they going to do? But I mean, hot tagging in R-Truth in the middle of a tag match. I mean, they really should do R-Truth and Little Jimmy in a tag match versus the Usos. Who cares? I mean, I just think it'd be hilarious.
Santino and Ryder will be on the other end.
That could always see Little Jimmy too. You could always have one of these NXT guys. That could be how they break them up to the main roster, is he can see Little Jimmy, and R-Truth kind of, and you never know. You have something like that where this other guy can see Little Jimmy, he's talking to Little Jimmy, and you got Little Jimmy's an invisible mascot for R-Truth and his tag team partner. I mean, you could do something like that.
Could Little Jimmy be the advisor to Abraham Washington and
bring the storyline into it?
I mean, if WWE really could find a way to get behind Little Jimmy, I'm sure they have the money and technology to do something with they have the little picture of him on the shirt with the hat. They could sell Little Jimmy hats and just find a way to get like R-Truth walks out with the hat, find a mechanism where they could attach it to him so it looks like a little hat floating down the aisle. I mean, who the hell knows? I'm just throwing out ideas that pop into my head of Little Jimmy here.
Garvin's got a great point. Ryback can see Little Jimmy. How about that one?
Be different.
Yeah, exactly. Chat saying that Little Jimmy is on a shirt, and there's invisible people in Japanese wrestling companies, which is Japan is so weird. And basically, chat, this is a great one. Is Little Jimmy the voice in Orton's head? He's Hornswoggle's translator. I like that, the technology, we can bring him back. Because I mean, why can't they make Little Jimmy a hologram and put him on stage? I mean, you can do that with dead rap stars. Why can't you do that with Little Jimmy?
Right.
And then R-Truth can come out and do his rap. Oh my God, it works on so many levels.
There you go.
Arthur emailed in about
right there.
Yeah, that's money right there. That is a license to print money. So now that we've all had fun making fun of little Jimmy, let's start a little bit of a flame war. Arthur emailed in about why Jericho and Punk feud isn't working. He's basically saying that Punk and Jericho aren't main event guys. They never have been and they never will be. Punk's doing a little better now, but both with any kind of title above mid-card titles have been complete flops. Jericho has the first undisputed championship. He was the first undisputed champion. I have a canker sore, so it's going to be a little rough. Jericho was the first undisputed champion. They pushed him to the moon. You could practically hear crickets in those arenas. And John Cena draws more money out of one house show than Punk drew with all of his title reigns combined. Are you saying the feud's been redundant? Aside from Jericho hitting Punk with a bottle of Jack, you pretty much could see everything they were going to say. And if you saw in week one, you saw the entire feud. What do you guys say to that? Punk Jericho aren't main event. The storyline is because it's
bullshit.
That Jericho
in one night beat The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin to become the first undisputed champion.
Right. The problem with that storyline and when they're pushing him is they push him to make him Stephanie McMahon's bitch. That's why he got crickets.
Yeah, I don't think the problem that I have with this is his overall point that they're not main eventers is false. Punk is clearly main event. There's no argument. Your overarching point is terrible. If you want to complain as you did about the actual angle and the fact that they don't work together, that's fine, because I agree with you. I don't think they're working very well together. I don't like the angle. I thought, yeah, if you want to complain about that, I understand. Don't say they're not main event. That's ludicrous.
Yeah,
there's Punk T-shirts everywhere. Jericho is still top of the line, even though he's been away from the game. That point is false.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, anyone who thinks CM Punk isn't main event should go back to
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, CM Punk versus John Cena in Chicago when he won the title and then left, his contract expiring and everything, and look at the reception he got. I mean, it's one thing to say, you can't really write it off as being, well, it's a hometown wrestler. He went above and beyond what most hometown wrestlers get. The crowd was blowing the roof off of the stadium, literally. And when Cena came in, he got booed so extensively, he's looking around like, shit.
Okay.
I mean,
James, do you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, well, I know I'm going to be disagreeing with a lot of people, but I actually like their storyline right now. The whole, Jericho accusing him of his family problems really brought some intensity to Punk, and I think even though some feel it's not working, I think the crowd's been pretty behind it during the whole, sobriety testing. There's now a lot of wrestlers that could have pulled that off and still had the crowd interested. So I don't know. But yeah, I definitely feel they're obviously main eventers. I don't think there's going to be too many people disagreeing with that other than that email and some other, I'm sure there's some people, but.
Okay. And look, I'm sorry, go on, Matt.
I was going to say, my only thing with I think Punk is a main eventer. Jericho's a main eventer. I think the problem, though, is the scatterbrain of the writing of the angle. Because you were pushing it as this whole best in the world thing, and then they started, and I could be wrong, but I believe it was before WrestleMania is when they started to put the whole Jericho trying to get in Punk's head with the bad alcoholic and all that stuff. I think that started before WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what they should have done with knowing the outcome of what happened at WrestleMania is they should have just focused on best in the world. Punk goes up. Hey, Punk is the best in the world, but then Jericho's still obsessed with being best in the world, so then he goes to the mind games out of WrestleMania. I think that would have brought more structure to the feud and would have had more mass appeal and would feel more like a main event angle, but it's so scatterbrained in the early going that are they fighting for best in the world? Is it personal? What the hell is it? Where if Punk wins and is best in the world, but Jericho still believes in his own mind, and Punk's proved that, hey, I just tapped this guy out, I am best in the world, but Jericho's obsessed with it, so Jericho goes to the dark place, he starts bringing up the personal issues, and they could run with that angle for 3 months and make it a more dark, personal feel of an angle, but it's been so over the board, and then they just did the hokey sobriety test, and that was just a kind of took what felt like a main event angle, and they kind of knocked it down to where it's definitely undershadowed by Cena and Lesnar. It's on the same par as like Bryan and Sheamus. It's the co-main event.
Yeah. Okay. The chat, I knew it was going to happen. When I mentioned this, the chat done blew up. I'm not going to read all the comments, but I'm just going to say that basically they're saying that the premise is inaccurate, that these two are main event and top guys, and it's ludicrous to think otherwise. Look, I mean, this is an opinion. I mean, Arthur took the time to write it right in. He wrote in for last week's show, and I didn't get a chance to read it out on the air, and I felt terrible about it, so I definitely wanted to get this one out here. He does have a point about if you saw it 1 week, you've seen it all. It's a really good point. He thinks that Punk's not main event. I mean, we'll disagree, but I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, and he wrote in. So, good on you, man. I appreciate that. All right, you guys ready for quick hits?
Quick hits.
Yeah.
Hits, all right. Time for quick hits. For you guys new to the show, each one of us is going to get 30 seconds of sound off on a news topic. And if there's time afterwards, we're going to scream at each other for a little bit. First up, if there's anything you guys want to let us know, you can always hit us up on hashtag AskFTW. First item up on the docket. As seen on Raw last night, Eve Torres is now the new executive administrator to the general manager, John Laurinaitis. Eve's new role is seen internally as a big push for her. Vince McMahon is said to have a really huge fan of Eve and her work. Or her works, if you get what I'm saying. She has been one of his favorite divas for well over a year now. But in all seriousness, guys, how would you use Eve in this role going forward? Matt?
I don't really understand why they decided to have Eve take the turn, because Eve seemed like a couple months ago she was being built up to be the second babyface with Kelly, and she has the talent and the looks and all that where she could pass Kelly and been the face to come. That's why I don't think she was the best person for the job, in my opinion.
All right, cool. Joe.
I think you let her start making some of these matches and, saying that Laurinaitis let her do it. Kind of like the Lumberjill match. You can definitely see she's trying to have a romance with Laurinaitis and he's shutting it down. So I don't know. I think you could end up with an interesting feud there, but I don't know how to build it yet. She just got the role, so we're not,
okay. Right. Rob?
I would kind of like Joe. I would build it, letting her run the Divas division, make the matches and everything, kind of similar to what TNA did with Karen Jarrett, only you've got somebody with more skill and more knowledge of the wrestling business making the decisions. I think that could work.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah, I'm with Rob. I think she's done a good job in her promos, and I think she's done a very good job of getting over in the way that they used Ryder. So, yeah, I'm with Rob. I would use her as kind of the Karen Jarrett role, and maybe really, maybe that can help ignite the Divas division. I doubt it. But you never know. The only thing it's going to invite it to me is karma, but you never know. Give it a shot. I do think she's doing a good job.
Okay. James?
The one thing that really interests me about this is, like, if there's some kind of like jealousy between her and Otunga, with him kind of being John Laurinaitis' yes man, and her getting this new role, Otunga kind of got jealous and there was some friction there. I think that could be fun.
Okay. That's actually one thing that I'm actually worried that they're going to do. I got to be honest. When it comes to this, Eve is far too talented for this role. But if it does, I think it would be absolutely amazing if she became like the Iron Queen of Raw, and that almost like she just basically. I don't like the whole sleep your way to the top angle that they're going with her. But if they basically had her to where she got Laurinaitis, and then she basically went one above Laurinaitis and took his job or became special advisor or something, and now she is like bossing John around, I think that'd be amazing, because right now Laurinaitis just does not have a backstage presence, like a foil, like someone who's strong enough to be a foil to him, and I think Eve could really do that. I think it'd be fantastic if she was sort of like this backstage political, I don't want to say dominatrix, but I mean, you get what I'm saying, like, and then she just took over and ran the place. I think it'd be awesome. WWE Hall of Famer Edge was brought to Detroit, Michigan for last night's WWE Raw Super Show so he and company officials could negotiate his new contract. As noted before, WWE had previously offered Edge a new contract and were upset that the news leaked about his deal coming to an end. Word got around that WWE tried to lowball him. To get an idea how bad WWE tried to lowball Edge, Shawn Michaels makes around $300K a year under his contract with WWE, and Mick Foley making a little less. It's said that Edge wasn't even offered anything close to Foley. Should Edge be paid on the same scale as HBK and Mick Foley? If so, why or why not? Matt?
I would say no, because I don't believe that he ever made the company as much money as either one of them two guys have. Edge, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's a star. But, I mean, if you're saying Shawn Michaels is making $300K, I mean, I'd say maybe Edge put him in the $150,000, $200K bracket if that's what they're paying guys to just keep their name around there so they don't go to the competition. But there really isn't competition, so I don't understand what the deal is. But, I mean, yeah, I don't think that'd be the biggest reason. Is like Edge never made the money. He was never the guy in the company. Shawn Michaels at one point in time was the guy in the company. Granted, the company almost went down, but Shawn Michaels has proven for 25 years that he could probably go out there now today and have one of the best matches out of anybody out there. And Mick Foley, during the Attitude Era, he got to the top. He was one of the main reasons people were watching Raw, and there was there was like 15,000 or 15 million people watching wrestling in that time frame, and Mick Foley was on top, and Edge was just cutting his teeth. When Edge was the top guy, he was never above Cena. When he was the champion on SmackDown, SmackDown's ratings were abysmal. So that's my take on it.
Matt, I love you, buddy, but it's quick. Emphasis on the quick. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, you do bring up really good points. Joe.
I think that he should be paid. I mean, if what they're saying is true, yeah, maybe. I mean, he did. I have to disagree with Mr. Mathew Priest. I think that he did do his part to carry the company. I think he pulled off some amazing matches. He had amazing feuds with, John Cena. He did Batista. He had Taker. He had Triple H. He had Orton. I mean, he had all these guys, and I think he's probably worth a little more coin.
Okay, Rob.
I agree with Matt here. Edge had a good career. He had some great matches, some good feuds, but I don't see him making any real money or carrying shows like Cena, HBK, and Foley have. He just never really got to that kind of level in my book. So I think he doesn't really deserve to be in that same kind of income bracket.
All right, Kevin.
I think he should be comparable. I don't think it should be as high, but lowballing the guy I don't think is right either for the things that he's done. So that's my opinion. I don't like them lowballing him. That's the thing that's frustrating me more than anything. I don't think it should be as high, but treat the guy with some respect. He's earned it.
Okay. James, go.
Yeah, I don't think it should be as high, but definitely not lowballing him. This is probably an unfair comparison, but like when Shawn Michaels came back, with the whole Undertaker feud, he was getting what chance and everything, but when Edge just came back, the crowd was really into it. I think it's fresher in people's minds, and I mean, SmackDown's ranks were not high when he was on there, but they did drop way down after he left. I'm pretty sure. I don't have like a source to cite for that, but so I think he was a pretty big star for that time, and I think he still gets a big reaction.
See, now the thing is, I mean, James, I'm sorry, Matt brought up the really good point, and I just want to take it one step further. The thing about guys like Shawn Michaels and Mankind, they're still doing things for wrestling. Shawn Michaels still has his show. Mankind still has his name out there writing a book every other week. So they're still promoting value, and that value translates to merchandise sales. HBK shirts and Mick Foley shirts are still selling because these guys are still out there. Edge retired. He didn't have anything else he was going to. He wasn't doing a game show. He's not doing a band. He's not doing book signings or anything like that. He's got his Edge DVD, and that's about it. But as far as like 5-10 years from now, I can't see Edge being as big of a star to work, as big of a star outside of wrestling as these two other guys, just because of the value that they bring in. All right, so we're just going to move right along to Extreme Rules, unless you guys want to talk about the Briscoe Brothers thing.
Extreme Rules.
All right, Extreme Rules. That's fine. Extreme Rules is coming up. First up, we just want to go right down the docket. First up is the YouTube pre-show, which they've been hyping up like crazy. Santino Marella, versus The Miz in a singles match for the United States Championship. Anybody really think Santino's going to drop it on YouTube?
No.
Nope.
All right,
no, but it would be awesome.
Kevin,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because they're promoting it. It's the first time they're doing this on YouTube. They're going to want people to tune back in next month, so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he'll lose it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did for that reason.
Good point.
No, that is a solid point, and that popped in my head. But I just can't see. I think they've got to keep it on Santino for a little while longer.
All right, so Joe, Kevin, you're saying Santino. Rob, who'd you pick?
Santino. It would be awesome if he dropped it on YouTube, but I don't think WWE is going to bury Santino like that.
Matt, so basically you're taking The Miz. Garvin's taking The Miz so he can get 4 points. I'm taking The Miz because Matt's absolutely right. And the counterpoint to they wouldn't bury Santino, it's Santino. They would rip him naked, feather him, and send him through a preschool if they wanted to. They just don't give a shit about this guy or his career. I mean, he's still going to get pops when he comes out there.
Yeah, and lately they don't seem to give much of a shit about The Miz either. So
yeah,
not going to be. I mean, yeah. If the backstage rumors are brought up, they are going to be said that.
And then you have Santino beating a former WWE champion.
Yeah. That's not happening. James, did you give me your prediction? Oh, yeah, you took Santino, right? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Oh, man, we have too many people on the show right now. All right, next up, Randy Orton versus Kane. Doesn't matter because I'm still coming up because they're both on my team. Who's going to win what? Randy Orton, Kane. Okay, so Kevin's taking Kane.
I'm going to go with Kane.
Okay, Joe's taking Kane. I know this is a real tough one, isn't it? I think I'll go with Kane, too, just because, I don't know. I just think that last promo, Kane seems to be getting more heat. Garvin's saying Orton, so that way there'll be a rubber match. Yeah, but this feud really keeps still having legs after this?
I think so. I think they're working really well together. I think it is.
Yeah, Garvin, you got me. You got me changing my vote for that reason. All right, so we got Matt?
I really don't know. Did Kane won at WrestleMania, but did Orton beat him on SmackDown?
He did beat him on SmackDown. The following SmackDown.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kane.
All right, you're going to go Kane. Yeah, the problem, I don't think Matt should be allowed to be on this because he's a booker. This just isn't fair. I mean, I'm taking all of Matt's picks. He's going to be my,
I'm not always right because, everybody has their different style. I'm not always, especially when I don't follow the product like I used to. I can't tell you. I'm just going to say Kane for the simple fact that
okay.
I saw his promo last night. It seems like they can do something more with this angle. And how you guys mentioned earlier, Orton got to dig down deep, and he's got to find that dark inner viper that made him Randy Orton. And I think Kane's the guy who's going to bring it out. So
yeah,
I guess
it
could be a month from now. Who knows?
Yeah, you brought up a really good point in that you're wrong a lot of times. Scottie Pippen wasn't that great of a ball player next to Jordan, but I'd still want him in my 2x2 game. Just saying. If I could have him at my side, if I'm playing 2-on-2 pickup basketball, I'm going to take Pippen. All right, who don't we have yet?
I'll take LeBron.
Joe, I swear I'm going to debone you. I'm going to debone you and your dogs. Who am I missing? Rob, I'm sorry. Rob, you're taking Kane?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, Rob. All right. Big Show versus Cody Rhodes. It's basically 2 people now.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you skip over James?
Oh, I'm sorry, Orton.
Yeah, Orton.
Okay,
sorry. Thanks.
Sorry about that. Damn it. I know where I'm being tripped up because Joe and James both have the same initial.
There you go.
That's where I'm getting tripped up. Big Show versus Cody Rhodes. Spoiler alert, to be announced match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. I don't care. This match is going to be spectacular. Cody Rhodes. Okay, does anybody really think Cody needs the belt right now? Because I don't.
No, I think Big Show's going to retain.
I agree. I'm actually surprised they haven't moved him into another program with somebody else.
Maybe this is the end.
Maybe.
It's going to be a spectacular.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes does get his rematch for the belt, I guess. Okay. I'm going to go with Big Show retaining.
Okay.
Knocking Cody the fuck out.
Okay. Matt, who are you taking?
It makes sense to go with Big Show. Big Show seems like he'll win, but for some reason I'm just going to go with Cody because I saw Big Show and Khali team up. And I guess they've done it 2 weeks in a row, so I don't know what's going on there, but Cody, I'm going to go with Cody, just out of dark hunch.
Okay. James?
Big Show.
You're taking Big Show. The Big Show. Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, a 2 out of 3 fall match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I got to be honest. I think this is going to be the match of the night.
I do too.
Wow, I can't even remember the last time I saw a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah, and
the most
Daniel...
underrated gimmick in wrestling.
And it's so good.
Love it, and I don't know why they don't do it more.
And well, it's right up there with the Iron Man for one of the best gimmicks for a match.
Screw that. It eats it out. It decimates it. The 2 out of 3 falls match is one of the greatest matches of all time. And as much as I hate to say this, I think Sheamus is going to win this.
I think Sheamus is too. Bryan doesn't need the belt.
Yeah. Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Sheamus.
Rob. James, Matt.
Yeah, probably Sheamus. I want Bryan to win, but yeah, I think Sheamus will probably go on to feud with Alberto Del Rio, maybe. So.
Okay. Matt, who are you taking?
Sheamus.
You're taking Sheamus? So no one thinks. So everyone's kind of saying that Daniel Bryan doesn't need the belt. That's pretty cool. Chat's agreeing with us. They're saying Sheamus, and they're saying Garvin wants Sheamus with a bonus point if AJ interferes.
Does Sheamus beat him with a no lock? Kidding.
Figure 4. How impressive was that figure 4 by Cody Rhodes? I was so excited. I'm like, it's the figure 4. It's great.
I'm just like, Big Show just rolled over.
Oh, no, Daniel Bryan defeats Sheamus with the no kick. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. Yeah, I love puns, man. I collect them. That was a really good one, Garv. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. I got to be honest. Chicago street fight, hometown. Does anybody really think CM Punk is going to win this match?
I don't. I think it's going to be Jericho.
All the way. Downtown Lester Brown. There's no way in hell CM Punk is walking out with the belt on this match. He's going to get buried.
If all the guys lose at home, I agree. I think he's going down this time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm picking CM Punk.
So am I. I think...
So wrong.
I think this is what's going to end this feud.
No. It's going to end this feud when Jericho wins. This is a lock for Jericho to win this belt. And come on. CM Punk already won last time that they were in Chicago. This is the shot in the arm that Jericho needs. And it's just, this is a lock that Jericho's going to win. James, Matt, you with me or no?
I think it's going to be Punk winning to end the feud.
Boo.
It makes more sense for Jericho to go up. The only reason I think Punk will is because Cena Brock's the main event, and they're not going to piss off the hometown crowd in the mid-card match and have Punk go down to Jericho.
See, the thing is, though, if Jericho loses this, what the hell do you do with Chris Jericho?
You end the feud he's
his
in
career. He has done nothing.
And you find another feud, and you get him in another feud. You start him working in a different direction.
But he hasn't.
Jericho Miz.
Jericho Miz, and is Jericho going to lose every single match for that one too?
No.
I mean, that's the thing.
I think whatever Jericho goes into next, he will win. But I just don't think he's gonna. I think CM Punk's gonna beat him, especially. He's going into the hometown crowd, especially all this crap about his family and that he's drinking. Like, I just can't see with the PG crowd, the PG image they're going for. That
if we know anything about Chicago, this will not be a PG crowd.
No, but I mean for all the little Jimmies all around the world, Punk's got to win.
I don't know. The only person who really got a good point is Matt saying that. At least for me, saying that they wouldn't piss off the crowd going into Lesnar Cena, but I don't know. I think WWE is perfectly fine saying this is eat your vegetables. Here
Say your prayers. Take your vitamins.
Chad's saying if Punk loses, he wins the belt back at Money in the Bank. They're pretty split on it, which is weird. But yeah, he's saying that he'll win the belt back at Money in the Bank, which would be great because Punk's always awesome at Money in the Bank matches. Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry.
One other thing I want to chime in on Punk Jericho, now that I'm really sitting here thinking about it, because it's the first time I've thought about it, is with it being mid-card, they might open the show with it because WWE is pretty infamous for opening the show with a big title match, and then if they're going to do a title change, they'll have maybe – see, it's so hard 50-50. I mean, I can see on the same flip side, Jericho going over early and then trying to win the crowd's hearts back and building up to Cena Lesnar because it is the bigger match, and I don't think anybody's going to leave and be that pissed off that Punk lost for Cena Lesnar. So I'm still going to go with Punk, but I see both sides with the booking side of things and how it could make sense.
Yeah, but Matt, I mean, look, Chicago is like Madison Square Garden. It's not, it's not Midwest. It's not your average crowd. These Chicago and Madison Square Garden thank the wrestlers by name. I mean, this isn't your average wrestling crowd. Do you really think that they would be okay with having the WWE title match with CM Punk opening the show? Would you book that? Keep in mind, it's Chicago. It's not an average crowd.
I probably wouldn't personally, but I mean, would it surprise you if they did? Because look, they've done it with other matches, and where else do you put Punk and Jericho? If you put them right before Cena and Lesnar, they could have the fear. They're going to put probably the Divas match or Calm Before the Storm, right before that. So it's kind of like, where the hell does this match fit on the card? And with the way they're putting their pay-per-views together now, I mean, it's hard to say. But if it opens the show, I would probably say Jericho's going up.
Okay, all right. Would you still say that if it went Punk, Jericho, and then it went Sheamus, Daniel Bryan for the 2 out of 3 falls, and then Brock Lesnar? I'm sorry, then Lesnar Cena. Would you still say that Punk wins or loses?
If it's in the 9 o'clock hour sometime, if it's before 10 o'clock, if it's between 9 and 10 o'clock, Punk's probably winning.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, I'll take it. Chad's saying CM Punk has lost in Chicago before with Ziggler. I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm just saying, I mean, that's my point. All right, so Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Here it is, Extreme Rules match. I mean, Lesnar. Does anybody really think Cena's going to win?
I actually do.
Really?
I'm going to tell you why. I think there's going to be some sort of interference. They don't need Lesnar to get over. He's already over, and he's playing his role so well. I'm taking Cena. I think he's taken a bunch of back seats lately. I think he probably needs a win more than Lesnar does.
Okay. Dude, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I can't see. I fully
realize I'm taking the flyer, but I'm going to take it.
Props.
All right. So, Joe, you're taking Lesnar?
I'm taking Lesnar.
With me? All right. Anybody else taking Cena?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, I was thinking Brock would win, but until he started making all his demands on Raw and everything, it made me kind of feel like, well, it would look really bad for Cena to win those 2 matches in a row. But if he did lose and took time off, that would be good. But, yeah, I'm picking Cena.
Okay.
I'm also going to pick Cena.
Wow. Joe and I are standing alone so far. What about you, Mike? Matt, you with us? Sorry.
I got Lesnar.
Yes! The Booker is with me.
You can color me surprised. I thought I'd be flying solo on my Cena pick. That's fine. I'm surprised.
Look, from my point of view... Oh, I'm sorry. Go on, Matt.
All I was going to say is because I think it was Rob, you mentioned the interference aspect of it. I mean, if I can't see Laurinaitis being put in a position where Cena is gonna win, especially after the way the promo ended. I mean, he just gave Brock Lesnar everything Brock Lesnar demanded. There's no way he's gonna let Brock Lesnar lose that match if it gets down to somebody getting involved.
All right. No, that's fair. I mean, my point of view, Brock Lesnar, it's all set up. It's all sitting there. Someone just needs to shut the door, and this is that match that does it. I honestly think John Cena's taking vacation after this. He's going to be off for a couple months. Chat's with me on this one. If Lesnar wins, Cena leaves for months, comes back as the Chain Gang soldier. Okay.
Plus, he lost to Tensai.
Yeah. So, oh wait, yeah, Tensai isn't even on this card at all.
Yet.
Yes, thank you. Tensai, yeah. So we only got 5 matches announced. Well, technically 6 if you count the YouTube pre-show. But yeah, we don't have Tensai, we don't have Brodus Clay. So now we are doing a live show to predict this on Saturday at 1 p.m. Usually we do them a little bit later. We're doing it earlier this time. Saturday, 1 p.m. We're doing a live show. Check us out, ftwpodcast.com/live. You can also see details on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ftwlive, FTW Podcast. There's going to be me. Garvin's going to be there. Joe, you're going to be there too, I think, right?
I possibly will be. I'm hoping my schedule clears up.
Okay. Yeah, so we're still kind of up in the air about who's going to be there, but at the very least it's going to be Garvin and I possibly talking about the Browns draft for the most part and then trying to discuss Extreme Rules in the meantime. But, so somebody else better be on that with us or
that
all of our fans. All of our fans, yeah, all they're going to do is they're just going to hear us tuning in, talking about how much Garvin and I hate Cleveland sports radio. That's all they're going to hear for about an hour.
Okay, Double A.
That should be the bonus match that gets added. Lord Tensai versus Brodus Clay.
Yeah, I mean that'd be one way to take it. It'd be interesting to see. Oh man, we don't have time. I wanted to do my review of Backdoor to
for
China.
For a new title, King of the Squash match.
I wanted to do my review for Backdoor to China, but we don't have time. All right, so the FTW draft started. You know what? I'm going to be doing my review for Backdoor to the China next week. It's China's porno. Yes, I watched it. I'm going to review it next week on our show. I wanted to do it this time because James mentioned he wanted to hear about it. So, James, you're going to have to tune in, buddy. You can't just – I'm not giving you a freebie. You're going to have to tune in next week and listen to me review a porn on the internet.
You're killing me.
Deal with it. This is how we hook you. We're going to hook you one fan at a time. You have to tune in next week. All right. So the FTW draft started officially
yesterday.
Monday? Yeah, started officially yesterday. Check out ftwpodcast.com/draft. You'll be able to see it on there. As for what's going on, we all had our picks. Our picks went up there. They were on Facebook. We posted them to the site. So far, the team leaderboards, unfortunately, Rob is in the lead because Mark Henry got a huge push for him. He's in the lead with 4 points. And we got Garvin, Joe bringing up second and third, Kevin, then Mike, friend of the show, Scott, another friend of the show, and then Amanda, Greg, Connor. I don't know why I'm all the way down at the bottom. Harrison, Jill. That's not even alphabetical. Is that alphabetical? No, it isn't. It's still. Well, I'd still be in the same place if it was alphabetical. Damn it. Anyway, and by the way, I'm not in 10th place. If anything, we're all tied for 7th. All right. So I don't know where you're coming from, putting me in 10th. Anyway, so that's.
No, you're all tied for 10th. That's actually how you're supposed to do it. No,
we're all tied for 7th because we're all fighting for 7th place.
But you still would go with the anyway.
We're all. Actually, I am in 7th place.
And actually, Harrison, if it were going alphabetically, H comes before J. So.
Yeah, thanks, CM Punk.
No. I'm just saying that if you look at the order, the only difference is the fact that Greg is before Connor. If it was alphabetical, that'd be switched, but I'd still be 10th. Anyway, shut up, Garvin. No. Nobody look at the chat. Don't look at what Garvin's saying. Anyway, tied for 7th. So yeah, you can check out ftwpodcast.com/draft for all the action. Also, join us on Facebook. We have a couple fans on the show popping up, talking about the teams that they put up there. We're going to be posting the points and everything. We want to see some trash talking now. We got some teams going. Sign up, bring up your draft team, preferably sooner rather than later. Throw them up there on Facebook and start trash talking because that's the most fun about this. All right, so who's ready for some win fail?
I was gonna just want to jump in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One thing. If you guys want to see what I thought about my team, why I picked who I did, youtube.com/the FTW podcast. It's a video of me talking shit, my fat ass in a red shirt, sitting up there talking about my team. Check it out.
Yeah, latest Lion Tamer. I'm sorry, buddy. I should have plugged that. Yeah, Garvin will have a video up tonight or tomorrow as well. YouTube.com/the FTW podcast to see those. Definitely see Joe's Lion Tamers. They're always fun to watch, mostly for production value alone because he has access to like an entire production suite. So his videos are probably the best you're going to find for pro wrestling, outside of kayfabe. Sorry, buddy. So yeah, let's go for some win fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid.
Of the week.
Joe, your win of the week. Go, Joe.
My win of the week is the WWE bringing in that Okay, when Brock Lesnar made his debut, and you saw the people freaking out, and the people were doing like the little hop thing that he does, and there was one guy, one like tall, like really nerdy guy in like a camo shirt, and he's just kind of like pull his arms back, and he's like, "Yeah!" They had him on Raw last night. They showed him. They flew him in just to do that. That was awesome. That's my win of the week.
Are you? That's the new Miz girl. That's how you get on, man. You do something crazy on camera. Rob, your win of the week.
My win of the week is the fact that, hey, I'm off to a good start, and I happen to be leading the pack in the FTW draft.
Shut up. Shut up, Rob. Nobody cares. I mean, you're from Chicago. Who gives a rat's ass what happens to you? Kevin, your win of the week.
Don't worry, Rob. It's only week one. My team's about to squash yours.
Shut up.
Win of the week. You know what?
Win of the week, since I got the floor here, is Kofi and Jericho. I thought it was a great match. I really think Kofi's showing what he can do against main eventers. That's the big thing to me as well. He's showing that he can hang with them. He needs to work on the mic work. I really think he is going to be the future. And I thought it was a great match, and we'll see what he's got maybe next week.
Okay. James, your win of the week.
Even though we were making fun of it a little bit, really it's just kind of all the debuts going on with, I'm just so excited for Dean Ambrose to come out, and even seeing like the tag team, even though I don't really think they're going to do anything with it, and Antonio, I forgot his last name, Claudio Castagnoli, coming.
From ROH.
It's just everything, it just feels like an exciting time. We're always kind of like waiting to see, well, who's next? Who's around the corner?
That's fair. That's fair. Matt, your win of the week.
I'm going to say the NHL playoffs.
Oh, good Lord.
Boo.
I got nothing wrestling related win of the week other than Tensai.
Yeah, you're starting to win me over with the Tensai Claw thing, because it is old school. It is kind of cool. I really wasn't a fan of it at first, but yeah, you're starting to win me over on that one, so good job. Chat's win is saying Punk messing up while doing the alphabet backwards. Tensai is better than Banzai. And Garvin saying, just wait until Karma, Jericho, and Miz walk out with titles in the next 2 weeks for his draft. I don't see that happening. My win of the week is, I'm gonna echo Chris Jericho and Kofi Kingston. Kofi has just been impressing me more and more and more the more he's out there. It's just, I don't know, his promo work, it just, he's almost at that breakout, like Cody Rhodes moment, where he's going to be like, just catching on fire and going. The guy, and it's not even just the high-flying stuff. It's not like he's pigeonholed with that. It was still a good match with Jericho. And, yeah, Jericho does a good match with everybody, but Kofi especially. And to open the show, they got the crowd behind him. And I got to be honest, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Kofi brings up this year. Also, another chat win is saying Brock tossing Josh Matthews. Just Josh's, I'm just trying to do my job. Because we've all been there. All right, fails of the week. Your fail of the week. Go, Joe.
My fail of the week is the little Funkasaurus Hornswoggle. I mean, weren't they just giving him an injury angle to pull him off so he could do the Leprechaun movies? What happened to that?
Leprechaun, I don't think anybody's buying into those. I think those got shelved, to be honest.
Meh.
Maybe this is how they're going to build heat for the Leprechaun movies. They're going to have him out there doing the little Funkasaurus. It's going viral, Joe. Rob, your fails.
My fail of the week is TNA's build up with the Crimson undefeated streak and the total fraud that is.
Okay. Kevin, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is 10 Brock Lesnar promos. 10 absurd. I realize you got to cover 30 hours. 30 hours. 3 hours.
30 hours.
No. Yeah. Kevin's right, man.
You got to cover 3 hours. Put another match in there.
No, Kev, you're right, man. At times it felt like 30 hours. James, your fail.
I felt probably this wasn't on TV, but just when you check wrestling news sites, there's so much about Hogan's sex tape or sex stills from his sex video and who he's having sex with, and is it Bubba the Love Sponge's ex-wife, and what Hogan did with his ex-wife. Just don't really want to hear about it. But the link shows up and they talk about it. So it kind of got clicked on it too out of curiosity, but still, come on.
Yeah, it's like those. It's seriously the Hogan sex tape stuff for me is like popping a zit. It's terrible, and you really don't want to do it, but you just grit your teeth and you gotta because it's driving you crazy to just have it sit there. So, Yeah, I'm with you, James. Matt, what is your fail of the week?
That sobriety test.
Damn it! That was mine. Okay, no, go on.
I didn't really understand the point of it. Like, I don't know, it just seemed so... It was one of those things in wrestling where it was just too written for me, for my liking. It had no realism or believability to it at all. Like, Jericho just looked at him through a door and was like, oh, he's drunk. I'm going to go tell Lauren. It was hokey, and I didn't care for it at all.
Too written. I really like that. I'm going to use that in the future, man. Thanks. My fail is the sobriety test, but specifically CM Punk acting drunk. It's completely clear to me now that he is 100% straight edge because he has never been drunk in his life, if that's what he thinks it looks like. I'm sitting here with a glass of wine, and I'm going, dude, you have never, ever been drunk. I mean, it's what I like to think what would happen if a vegan cooked a cheeseburger. Chat is saying bringing back Paul Bearer only to kill him again. Absolutely. Beth dropping the Diva title to Brie Bella. Well, that's complicated. We kind of touched on that. Because Karma coming back, they want to set up Karma versus Beth, so they got to get rid of the Bella twins because they'll have the belt or whatever. And they're also agreeing with Kevin on the 10 Lesnar promos. And Garvin's saying that Leprechauns wrote in and said that it was a disgrace to have Hornswoggle represent them because they threw him out before, so that's why no Leprechaun movie. All right. As always, I'm sorry, before we do that, I want everyone to get their plugs in. First off, Mathew Priest, the professor, Mathew Priest. If people want to get a hold of you and find out everything there is to know about you, where do they go?
Pretty much now it's just on Twitter at Mathew with 1T_Priest. And coming up this Saturday, Taylor, Michigan, Clash Wrestling. You get a pretty good show there. You go to clashwrestling.com for more information about that. Should be a pretty good card. The best show in Michigan right now, without a doubt. And then I do my shtick still with MCW Wrestling down in Ohio.
Okay, cool. And would you be I want to put you on the spot right now. Would you be averse to coming on and doing a trivia show? Like if we did a game show?
I'm down.
Awesome. Okay, I really want to book that. I think that'd be great. We come up with the most obscure wrestling questions, and we fire them at you guys and figure out which one of you is smarter. All right, and James, if everybody wants to know anything about your comic, where do they go for anything about you?
They go to botchedspot.com, and is a wrestling webcomic. It updates Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and makes fun of several of the things we talked about tonight. So check it out, and I would appreciate it if you would.
And would you be, I got to be honest, the day that we actually make one of your comics is the day I knew that we made it.
Oh, really?
When we see an FD, and I'm really looking forward to, if you ever do that, how you're going to do it, considering this is all audio. So I don't know how you're going to show us.
Please make it be women wrestlers wrestling and then not getting paid. Please.
Do you know he could just do a satirical thing where just Kevin's drunk, Joe's getting angry, Rob and I are talking over each other, and Garvin's just off in the corner shaking his head.
That's pretty good. I might have to use that someday.
Do that or Garvin will be giggling. One of the two.
Yes, Garvin giggling. I want a soundboard of that so bad. I got to go through the shows and make that, and not keeping time. Well, it's just because we ignore you. That's all it is. As always, you can find this episode as well as our entire archive at ftwpodcast.com. By the way, we put up a new version of the site last week. Did you notice? Let us know what you think, because Garvin's a web designer and he needs validation all the time. God. Facebook.com/FTW Podcast, Twitter.com/FTW Podcast, YouTube.com/The FTW Podcast for the Lion Tamer, our stuff. Garvin's going to be putting up a video. It's going to be awesome. You can voicemail us at 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894. You can write us questions to questions@FTWpodcast.com. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. We record every FTW Podcast episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on FTWpodcast.com/live. Rate us on iTunes and go to FTWpodcast.com/merch to buy a shirt because we need money. Anything else? Let's get the hell out of here. I'm done.
There you go.
Peace.